Tennis. Alex Eala looks at the positives despite QF exit at Philippine Women's Open. Manila. Filipina tennis ace Alex Eala is looking at the silver lining of her performance despite exiting in the Philippine Women's Open quarterfinals. Colombia's Camila Osorio spoiled Eala's campaign to win the first home tournament on Thursday, beating the hometown bet in 2 sets, 6-4, 6-4. Eala admitted she could have done better, but she said she gave it her all, especially since she had the home crowd rallying behind her. I think there was certain aspect of my game that just didn't show up today. I think there were certain things I really could have done better, but it doesn't have to be a big deal, she said at the post-match press conference. I think I have some good things to take away as well from this week in general. But yeah, we take it in our stride and move on. I just do my best to learn from what I can this match, the 20-year-old added. Eala spoke highly about Osorio's performance in their first encounter in their careers. I think Camila, well, she's a very consistent player. I also think that she's very smart on court. So I think she changed the rhythms, and she never really allowed me to be in a comfortable position. Which in the end is everyone's goal, you know, is to make the other person uncomfortable, she said. But I think she executed really well. And yeah, I definitely think I had my chances in some moments. But today she played better than me in those moments. And I think that's just something I can work on moving forward, Eala added. While the loss may be a tough pill to swallow, Eala said she will bring the lessons she learned moving forward in the rest of the WTA Tour season. I think a part of this journey is learning to be self-aware in terms of knowing what I need to do to kind of step back and regroup. Because in tennis, you lose a lot, and some losses are going to be more difficult than others. So it's something, I guess, you have to manage. And yeah, it's tough, and it's just different in every situation for me, she explained. As she flies out for the Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open, Eala said her goals remain the same, as well as her mindset to take things one match at a time. Eala will next play at the WTA 500 tournament as a wildcard in the main draw. The court was quiet in that particular way only tennis courts can be. Quiet, yet echoing with everything that had just happened. The final ball had already bounced twice. The quarterfinal match at the Philippine Women's Open was over, and with it, Alex Eala's run in the tournament. For the crowd, it was an ending. For Eala, it was a comma, not a full stop. Losses in tennis are intimate. There's no teammate to hide behind, no shared scoreboard to soften the blow. The player stands alone with her racket, her thoughts, and the truth of the moment. Yet if tennis teaches anything, it is that growth often lives on the wrong side of the scoreline. For Alex Eala, the quarterfinal exit was not a failure, it was feedback. From the first round, Eala carried herself with a calm intensity that belied her youth. Each match was played with a sense of purpose, as if she were not just competing for points but collecting information about her game, her body, and her mind under pressure. By the time she reached the quarterfinals, she had already proven something important. She belonged on that court, not as a hopeful wildcard, not as a local favorite, but as a serious competitor capable of pushing elite opponents. The quarterfinal match itself was a test in every sense. The rallies were longer, the margins thinner. Every short ball was punished, every lapse in focus immediately exposed. These are the matches that strip a player down to fundamentals. Serve placement, footwork under fatigue, decision-making when the legs are heavy and the crowd is loud. Eala fought through it all, not perfectly, but bravely, and bravery counts for something in a sport that constantly asks players to confront their limits. What stood out most was not the result, but her response. There was no visible panic, no unraveling. Even when momentum shifted, Eala stayed present, adjusting, experimenting, refusing to surrender mentally even when the match began to slip away. That resilience is not taught overnight. It is earned through matches exactly like this one. For Filipino tennis fans, Eala's presence in the later stages of the tournament carried a deeper meaning. She was not just playing for herself, she was expanding what felt possible for tennis in the Philippines. Every strong return, every confident hold of serve, quietly challenged the idea that global tennis success must come from traditional powerhouses. Her quarterfinal appearance was another step in building belief, not just her own, but the belief of young players watching from the stands or from home, racket in hand, dreaming forward. After the match, the positives were clear. Her baseline game held up under pressure. Her movement matched the tempo of higher-level opponents. Most importantly, her mindset remained intact. These are the foundations upon which long careers are built. Tournaments come and go, but lessons stay. A quarterfinal exit can sting, especially when victory feels close enough to touch. But tennis careers are not defined by single tournaments. They are defined by accumulation of experience, of maturity, of small improvements that compound over time. In that sense, this loss was rich. Rich with reminders of what needs sharpening. Rich with confirmation that the gap to the next level is bridgeable. Eala walked off the court not as someone defeated, but as someone informed. She leaves the Philippine Women's Open with match toughness, local support, and a clearer map of where she is headed next. The scoreboard may show a loss, but the bigger picture tells a different story, one of progress, patience, and promise. In tennis, the season is long, the journey longer. Quarterfinals become semifinals. Losses become references, and players who learn to find positives in defeat often discover that those moments, quietly and stubbornly, are the ones that shape champions. For Eala, this was not the end of something. It was evidence that something meaningful is still unfolding.